So I decided to pick up the mic. That was never my intention, but because I just feel like I need to share this with myself or with somebody, maybe this is going to stay in my archives and nobody is going to ever hear about this. I mean, I might even just publish it, but that doesn't matter. I'm sitting here on the floor and I'm thinking about my life. I'm grateful for life. Don't get me wrong. Okay, it's getting all emotional. I'm grateful for life. But I've learned so much about myself or who I thought I was. And I think when it comes to raising self-awareness to oneself, I realized that the parts of me that I thought were me aren't me. These parts are just eco-friendly. It's parts that I've adopted so that I could survive, and it's shattering, it shatters my entire reality because now, who am I? I mean, I'm much more than what I went through, and I know it sounds like I've gone through something so traumatic that it's just, ooh, and I didn't. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But I don't want to sit. You see, that's the critique. That's the inner critic that is in my mind that dismisses or invalidates my experience. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to entertain those thoughts. Because if I continue to entertain those thoughts and say, well, it's not of importance. I mean, everybody goes through hardship. I'm never going to heal from this. I'm never going to move forward. I'll constantly find myself doing the same thing over and over again. And I hate loops. I don't love loops. But funny enough, I'm in constant loops all the time. All the time. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I appreciate my mom. She's done a lot for me. Appreciate my dad. He's done a lot for me in terms of bringing me here into planet Earth. I'm grateful for that. But I have to address the matter at hand. I have to address it. As I'm growing to know myself or to know these parts of me, there's some resentment that comes up, like huge amounts of resentment. And I've always questioned where my anger lies. Like, I'm not a person that I hardly ever get angry. I hardly ever get angry, and I'm laughing about it. Do you ever feel like crying? You feel the tears about to stream down your face, and you're just like, I'm going to laugh it out because crying is awkward and stuff. But anyway, I've grown to the idea and the practice of suppressing my emotions, more especially emotions that were deemed undesirable growing up. One of them was anger. So even till date, it takes a while for me to get angry. Of course, I do get like surges where I'm just like, "Law," I'm about to get angry and then I push it down. And I don't know how I am when I'm angry. I do feel the resentment coming up, I do feel it in the frustration. I feel like the anger is intertwined with frustration in my case. And I need to learn to feel the frustration because literally a few minutes ago what had happened was I was getting all emotional. I felt the frustration rise up literally, and I felt the tears about to stream down. But what did I do? I had to push it back and laugh because that was awkward, you know. So it's a battle. It's a battle, Not only has these teachings manifest themselves in my life in terms of me in being incapable of experiencing or expressing my anger, but in other ways as well, you know. I don't think I've ever been romantically interested in somebody. I don't know what it feels like to be romantically interested in someone. But I don't think that the idea of having a crush is simply enough to say that, oh, I'm developing emotional or romantic feelings for this individual. I don't think I've ever experienced that, and maybe there are times where it comes up, but because I don't know, I've grown accustomed to suppressing my emotions, I've just let it die out, you know. So every time it comes up, I'm like, oh, no, 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 this is super uncomfortable. Go back into the shackles where you belong. And it makes me question, will I ever be okay? And I know that I'm okay, but I also don't think I'm okay, you know. Like, if I'm being truly honest with myself, I don't think I'm okay. And you know what frustrates me? Like, this frustrates me. I'm here analyzing what it is that is working in my life and what is not working, all of the traits that aren't of service to me. And I'm trying to do away with the voices that were ingrained in me from a very young age, whether be it by my parents, society, but for now we'll just stick to parents, right? And I'm seeing all of these patterns, toxic ass patterns, that I'm trying to heal or to stray away from. And the more I realize that the person that I'm the person that inflicted these ways of living onto my life, into my being, cares less, bro. You know, like, the person is like, I love my mom, but she doesn't care. She doesn't care. I mean, I could pull on the you know, the archetype of, yeah, well, everything happens for a reason, you know, you're still having a human experience. I get that, but right now I don't need none of that. Like, I don't need none of that. I just need to know that I'm human, and it is okay for me to feel these feelings. It's okay for me to have these kind of thoughts where I'm somewhat somehow resentful towards my mother without having to feel, oh, you're a bad person for having to feel such emotions or to even think about, entertain such thoughts. It's not, because I'm hurt. And me saying that I'm hurt, how does that make me feel? It makes me feel like I'm a victim. It makes me feel like I'm not taking accountability, which is something that I'm big on. And so that's why sometimes I feel like it's very hard for me to open up to myself, not even to other people, but to myself. Because, hey, take accountability. Yes, that should happen, but we need to move on. But how am I going to move on if I don't allow myself to fully feel what is going on in my body? How am I going to heal? Because I'm tired of this vicious cycle of having to do the same thing over and over and over again. But I see no results whatsoever, and it hurts so bad. I don't know what it is that I need to do right now. I don't know. I mean, there's a part of me that understands, not even wants to, but understands that, hey, the reason why she acted that way is because she also grew up in a similar environment, you know, in an environment that she was probably invalidated. People didn't really care much about her feelings. And she did the best she could. And it's hard. Because now I have to deal with all of these things. Because now mind you, I'm sitting with a nervous system that is broken down. A nervous system that cannot comprehend what it feels like to fully accept myself for who I am. And I know we've all got our own baggages. I know that. I know. I fully am aware of that. I am aware. But do you know how heartbreaking it is to want to experience intimacy with yourself? Never mind other people, but with yourself. But because you grew up in an environment that taught you otherwise, it feels foreign. It feels as though you're stealing something away from someone else. And all I'm just asking is to just be loved. Like, truly. Oh, that felt so good to say. It felt so good to say. I feel like my relationship with majority of the people in my life lack vulnerability. Maybe because I myself am afraid of being vulnerable. And you could ask, well, why are you afraid of being vulnerable, Patience? Is it because you're afraid of being abandoned that you're going to be abandoned? Well, not really. Not really. I think the reason why is because I just don't see the need to. I know that it needs to be done so that I can foster closer connections with people. But a part of me also struggles with the idea of someone using that against me, you know? Or now I know what it is that triggers you. I know what your fears are, someone to use that against you. And having to go through all of these sessions or self-interrogatory sessions where I interrogate myself and I think about my twin brother who doesn't even give a flying fuck about all of this. It makes me wonder, like, why? Why? And I don't need a cosmological explanation. I just want to be human without having to be the bigger person, without having to take responsibility. I just want to sit down with somebody and have a genuine ass connection where I can cry my eyes out, I can bawl my eyes out. That's what I want to do with someone that I feel safe with, you know? Yeah, so I do appreciate my parents, but yeah.